Hi everybody, making Klaus from American Dad on a CNC, making a sign from the episode where he says Danuta. Hi, Next Bot King. Yeah, he used to be my least favorite character, but in the latest seasons, he's actually become my one of my top 2 favorite characters next to Roger. So yeah, I'm liking Klaus now. Right now I'm using 1/8 inch end mill bits, and then I got a couple more to finish it up, so it'll be Klaus, and then I'll have some text on it. Okay, that was our 1/8 inch end mill. Now we're going to swap out a 1/16. So let me go to where I calibrated my Z probe. So I'm going to push this 200 millimeters into the X. And then 40. And then we'll swap out this 1/8 inch end mill for a 1/16 inch end mill, all down cuts today. There's 1/8 inch little guy. Going to an even littler guy with a 1/16 inch. So we'll put that in there. Tighten her up. Again, if you appreciate this or like what you're seeing, like and subscribe. Helps the channel. And I appreciate it. So now we'll take our Z probe here. Basically, we're going to make a circuit where we want to complete it. So let's drop that down just a little bit so we don't time out. And then, like I said, we're trying to complete a circuit. So let me get that just a little closer. If it goes too far and it doesn't make contact, it times out. And then sometimes there's a bug that it crashes the whole file, which sucks. So let's get this calibrated. Recognize the probe. We recognize. Now let's start calibration. I'm going to do 2 passes, 1 touch. Make sure we're there. And then second touch to fine tune it. Boom. We are calibrating the Z. And because I had this screw up last time, I like to just take it down to the surface of the material, making sure that we are where we say we are. So right now I should be barely touching it, which I am, so I know I'm good at the Z. We're going to keep our X and Y the same. We got our new Z. So let's go into our software and we're going to load in the new file. So load file, 1/16 inch. We're going to do the text now. And once we're done with the 1/16 inch, we're going to do a 1 millimeter. And let me raise that up just a little bit so it doesn't break the bit when it's starting. And because I don't have a relay or anything fancy on this one, actually let me screen or get a little dirty there. So let me just take my shop vac and just clean off that screen there really quick. Hopefully makes it a little easier to see. I have my autofocus feature, so it sucks. So we're going to turn this on manually. Close the door. Not too bad. And we'll start that file. Make sure the camera doesn't fall down. And let's start job. So right now we're going to do the American Dad logo in the corner right there, and then on the top we'll do what he says to Danuta when he does his phone call. Oh, sorry I didn't see your comments just for kicks. It's pine wood. So pine, it's obviously not as hard as something like maple, so I can do a little more aggressiveness with my cuts. And then I stain it Kona brown to give that two-tone look. And sorry about the lighting, it's a little dark over there. I got light in my cabinet, but when it goes in that spot, I lose a lot of that lighting because it gets blocked by the router. Threw a little light in there. No. So what I do is I buy select wood, which is good at not getting the knots. You pay more for it, obviously, but yeah, you don't have to deal with knots versus something like just your, what is it, not the normal grades, like the number 2, whatever it is. So yeah, I always go with select to avoid those knots. It's fairly consistent. You don't have to worry about, where you're cutting or adjusting your feeds or speeds if you hit a knot. So yeah, select's the way to go. Uh, Not at this time. No issues with sap. Again, select, I haven't seen any of this stuff. If you were to get the normal grade, yeah, you might run into it. So after we're done with this one, we'll do the 1mm end mill, downcut end mill bit. And that's just to do kind of a final pass, get a lot of the detail that the 1/8 inch and the 16th inch can do. And we'll do a final pass of 4,000s just to clean up the material so you don't have to sand as much. Appreciate it, Jess, for kicks. Really appreciate that. Have a good one. Okay. We're done with the 16th inch end mill bit, so now what we're going to do is to get a lot of that detail. It's kind of tough to see, but it's got a little bit of the fibers of the wood. There's a little more detail we need to get. So we're going to take out the 16th inch and we're going to swap it out with this 1 millimeter, this tiny little guy, and that's going to do our final passes for everything. So let me move the gantry over there. We'll calibrate it on that flat surface. And we'll go ahead and we'll swap out that bit there. So let us take our open-ended wrenches, swap this guy out, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So again, this is our 16th inch bit, and we're going to take our 1 millimeter right there, And like before, our X and Y will say exactly the same coordinates, but because we're putting in a new bit, we don't know exactly, or the software doesn't know exactly where this bit is in relation to our material. So we're going to have to calibrate that. Let me lower it down. And to do that, we're going to take our Z probe. Just a plate, put this alligator clip on the bit, and this is on our material. Our software knows the height of this plate. And what we're doing is just making a circuit for the machine to read. So you're gonna see me calibrate it shortly. We'll have to recognize it, so tap it to let the software know it's there, and we're gonna start it. So let's start the probe. So you're gonna see it's gonna drop down, touch the plate, and then a final touch. Okay, so we're going to, just to make sure, because I'm paranoid, because one time I had it where my probe wasn't where I thought it was, I like to just drop it down right to the surface itself. So right now, I should just barely be above the surface, which I am. Perfect. So we're good, we're calibrated. We have our X, Y, and Z called out. So we're going to go to our software program here. And then we're going to load in our last file. So this is just what we did here. All that text. Here's our Z, or 0, 0, 0. So let's load in our 1mm bit. So now this is what we're going to do. We're going to get all the details in the text, Klaus as well. So let's get this set up. And I'm just going to quickly vacuum off the window there. Okay. Raise that up. We're going to start our bits, or start our router. So we got that going. Close our door. We're locked and loaded. Now we're going to start it and get cutting. Start job. You can see there it's going to get in this fin where we couldn't get with the other two bits. Just getting all that detail that we couldn't get before. And so right now we're going to go around and just start cleaning up everything. If anybody interested, I sell these on my Etsy page. If you like and subscribe, you can find a link in my profile there. Takes a little bit longer just because I like to put a lot of detail into it. Get as much as I can with the CNC program to make sure there's just not a lot of tool marks, just to keep a nice clean cut and clean profile. So there we're working on Klaus's hair, what we call fish having hair. Again, like and subscribe helps the channel grow. I'm trying to get to 2,000 by the year end. Appreciate it. So here now it's going to go around the whole profile. And it's going to do this in 2 passes. It's going, I think, 5 thousandths, or maybe it's 50 thousandths, one of the two. Might be 50 thousandths. And it's going around and just kind of getting all that extra stuff there, so you can almost kind of see it peeling away some of the material, and that's just kind of that 4/1000ths cut right there, just cleaning it up. And then now you'll see it drop down once it gets back to where it started. And it'll go for its second pass. There, it just dropped down. Now it's doing its final pass at that Z height. And this is just cleaning it up so I don't have to do much sanding when I'm done. What I will have to do is round off the edges of this sign with a round over bit on a palm router, and then stain the sides and the back. Or I might already have a back stain, but yeah, I'll stain the sides. You can see it's just kind of peeling that stuff away and just cleaning it up just enough. Get those fibers out of there. Okay. Again, appreciate the likes, everybody. Like doing this stuff, like showing it off. Got into woodworking about 5-7 years ago. A lot of DIY stuff. In the last couple of years I got into CNC. The woodworking CNC. And yeah, I just like doing this stuff. There it's doing that last pass. We'll do that right there. You see it's just going now. It's going to drop down. Same with over here. One pass at this height. And then we're going to drop down to its final height right there. Just peeling it away. Nice, smooth features. And then here's, I think we're going to start doing its final pass. See, it's getting it, and then it'll drop down right here, and then clean it up. Get all that to get a nice smooth finish. Saves me time from sanding. I think we're going to get the bubbles here, yep. I probably could have used the 1/16 inch end mill bit to get more of the details in his fin, but I didn't assign that bit to that profile, so we'll use the 1mm here. Hope everybody who's in the United States had a good Thanksgiving weekend. It's fun until you have to go to work tomorrow. Again, I'm using pine, real soft wood, easy to work with. You can be a little more aggressive with your feeds and speeds. I'm using select quality of pine. It's more consistent, and the material you get, you don't have to worry about too many knots or anything like that. I had to make that fin, I guess, fin features a little wider. I ended up getting them to break a few times where they're a little too thin, so I had to go back to the model and kind of offset their profiles and make it a little more material that I didn't have to worry about breaking during a cut. So when it's all done, I'll put a little hanger on the back of this sign to hang up on the wall. Pretty soon we'll be doing our pass here. Final pass, 4/1000ths in, just to kind of clean up the material. This is its first pass, and we'll drop down to its final heights. Now we're going to start working on a text, cleaning that up. Look at Klaus here. So you see it's got I got to vacuum out that stuff up there, but nice and clean. Not too much material off the sand down. You can kind of see the words here, like Danuta and, oops, sorry about that. Like Danuta and Klaus, they got all that fiber. So that's what we're going to go around and clean up. So we got that nice appearance like we have there. So we'll go over here. And my mic keeps hitting it, so I apologize for that. And we're going to start cleaning up and then getting more of that American Dad stuff. Clean with the shop vac. Hopefully that helps. I have a tendency to pick up a lot of that sawdust on the window here. Okay, if you're still watching, you haven't liked and subscribed, if you could, it really helps me out. And if you're looking at buying something like that American Dad fan in your life, I sell these on Etsy with some other things too if you're interested. Got a sign from Valley Forge, the show Tires on Netflix. I got let's see, a Tekka Chair Company sign if you're into that show on HBO now with Tim Robinson. And then American Dad stuff, I got Roger. Obviously I got Klaus there. I mean, I got some of these files from Etsy, so I mean, if they're selling the files, uh, you know, I'm assuming you're fine as long as you're not making millions of dollars selling things like these. So, yeah, if you want to go do something like the Grinch, I mean, I've seen plenty of stuff with the Grinch for sale. No problem, Michael. Or Michelle, sorry about that. Yeah, like I said, I've seen plenty of Grinch stuff online. I can guarantee you that most of those people don't have any sort of licensing. So, yeah, I think you're in the clear. Not an attorney, though, and not in patent law or anything like that. So, that's just my own personal opinion. Okay. That is it. We are done. So we'll move that back to clear the CNC machine. So we are done. Detail wise, looks pretty good. Vacuum that stuff out of there. We'll go ahead and just kind of clean it up just a little bit. Like I said, vacuum. We'll round over the edges of the sign. We'll pop it out of there, and then we'll stain it, and then we are good to go. So yeah, that's it. That's Klaus Danuta sign. Thanks to everybody who's still on watching. I really appreciate it. Do these streams every so often on my channel. I like to build stuff, and it's on my Etsy page. A whole bunch of different stuff I sell, so if you're interested in finding it, go on there. But have a good one. Have a good weekend. Take it easy. Bye.